Susan Lee. I guess I have a little different perspective from a lot of you. I first met John when I was a young teenager and he was in college. My cousin had married his sister, and I remember meeting him at their home in Albany. And as I said, I was a young teenager, and this man bounced into the room. And he did not walk, he bounced into the room, and I remember being fascinated by that. And he just, as John always did, broke into this enormous smile, just burst into laughter, and that's the John that I always remember. He had this energy like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh that just bounced everywhere and carried that energy into any room he ever walked in. Not that long afterwards, when he graduated from college, we received a call that he had taken a teaching job on Long Island at Walt Whitman High School teaching English, and he had nowhere to live, and could he move in with our family for a while, which he did. And I can remember John so, just full of energy and optimism, walking out that door in the morning, looking so handsome, and then coming in at the end of the day, completely bedraggled, and beaten up in the schoolyard, and was absolutely shell-shocked by the first couple of months of teaching. And we'd sit in the living room at night and just laugh and be entertained, and it was just a delightful getting to know John and getting him really introduced into our family. He always enjoyed the antics of me as a teenager and all the kind of mischief I was into and whatever, would just delight in everything, and was very delighted when I chose my husband, because he was very fond of my husband, very delighted when that was the choice I made. And he would often tell me throughout my early years of marriage that he hoped one day to have what he believed that I had found in a relationship. I do remember a very strong memory is soon after my first daughter was born 33 years ago, we lived in Huntington, and John called and asked if he could come out for the weekend because he just had to absolutely meet this newest member of the family. And he came, took the train out, came to our house, and was mesmerized by my little girl. He just loved her. He couldn't get enough of her. He played with her. He made chicken noises to her that he thought was so funny. And he hence was always named Chicken Man in my house. But would entertain her with all these noises and was completely mesmerized and decided that absolutely we had it all. We went to bed that night, and for some reason my daughter decided to howl. Not 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. She decided to howl the entire night. There was no sleeping in our house. And the next morning, we all sat very lifeless in the living room looking at each other. And John just looked across at me and said, "I will never have children." I think he was very anxious to get on that train back into Manhattan. But obviously, he reconsidered and has two very beautiful daughters. John taught me a great deal over the many years that I knew him. He inspired me with some of the first ideas of Buddhism that I ever knew. And I remember him telling me a story that always stayed with me when he joined Vista, and he was sent down to St. John's and St. Thomas, and actually landed at St. Croix. And he remembers getting off the plane in St. Croix, and all his possessions were in a trunk. And he said they were loading the trunk onto a boat to take him across to another island. And they dropped the trunk in the water. And he says he remembers standing in absolute horror, watching every worldly possession that he had completely sink, just sink away. And he said he watched it disappear. And he said he went from this incredible terror to this incredible sense of calm, that there was no longer any earthly possession that held him. And I've thought of that story so many times, and I think of it again today, that John has left behind all his earthly possessions, but he knows it's okay. Thank you.